got a bit of a problem with the situation back in the UK regarding quarantine, PCR tests, etc. We have to come back, or have to go back to the UK. The problem with us is that the motorhome MOT is due on the 23rd of February. Now, our plan was to leave it as long as possible and go back the sort of last week of about 5 days before the MOT was due. But we're hearing horror stories regarding quarantine, PCR tests, etc, etc. The situation at the moment is that you cannot travel through France, you cannot enter France without a PCR test at the border. So if we wanted to get the Eurotunnel back, we'd have to get a PCR test to get into France from Spain, which would leave us 48 hours, because the way the PCR test is, and it has to be a PCR test apparently, not the antigen quick test. So you have to book it. It takes 24 hours for the results to come through, which leaves you 48 hours to get from Spain to France. Bearing in mind that the French have put into force that you can only drive between the hours of 6 AM and 6 PM, and you can't drive weekends as far as I know. So, PCR test. We've looked into it, me and Kev, and we have decided to go from Santander to Portsmouth. We're going to book the PCR test here, travel from here to Santander, stay in Santander for about 2 or 3 days, and then get the ferry, which is on the ferry leaves on the 10th of February, and then travel back to Portsmouth. So we get into the UK on the 11th. Now you have to have a 10-day quarantine period when you get into Portsmouth, so you have to go to wherever you're going to be quarantining or isolating for on the locator form, which you have to fill in now. So you have to have a PCR test, a locator form with the place you're staying. Problem is, there's nowhere in the UK at the moment. Everywhere is closed. Now we live in a motorhome. There's nowhere we can rank up family or friends, because they haven't obviously got anywhere big enough for this motorhome. So we're looking into getting a site before we leave Spain. PCR test. Right, I've been told, and I've looked on the website, and there's a place called MedMeSafe. You book it on their website. It costs 119 euros per person. So 119 for me, 119 for Nicky, and because Bradley's 11, he's got to pay full whack. So 119 for him. So we'll book that now for Monday the 8th. So we'll have the PCR test on Monday the 8th. The results we will get back on the 9th, and we travel on the 10th. Get back into the UK on the 11th, so everything will be great doing it that way. Been a lot of confusion about these PCR tests. Some people are saying, oh, you can have the cheap test, the antigen test. No, you can't. You have to have the PCR test. We've also heard that as from next week, after we get back, they're going to implement quarantining in hotels. I think that's just for flying though. I'm not too sure. I don't think it affects people going in by boat or whatever. So, but they are bringing in for everybody apparently. So I've been told, we don't get a lot of information here, that you have to have 2 PCR tests during your 10-day isolation period, which is going to cost another 200 quid per person. So that's, you know, that's 1,200 quid for 3 of us. So we decided now to bug out. We'll be leaving for Santander tomorrow, and we're going to meet Kev there. He's actually in Mercia at the moment, and then we'll play it by ear from them. I will now show you how we're going to go about doing it. Okay, right, this is the MedMasafe website. Now what you have to do, I just had a little chat on, I phoned them up. The woman there does speak English. She's very nice, and they call you back. Actually, they WhatsApp you. So, and she just sort of run through the procedure with me. Anyway, you have to first register with MedMasafe. Obviously, you get into this home page. You click down. They do all the different things there, but this is the one you want. Buy the PCR test at 119 euros. So once you click, you register, you come back to this page, log in, buy that, and it will tell you, well, it'll ask you where you want to have your PCR test. So once you've actually registered and you've paid, you get to the page where it asks you where you want to take the test. There's numerous places. There's a box with a Santander, and it gives you the address. It's number 10. Where are we? Calais. Number 10, Calais, Castilla. And then obviously on Google Maps, if you Google it, it brings you up here. That's the place there. It's quite straightforward. You know, they send you the appointment. It's not a problem. You attend the appointment, get the PCR test, and then obviously depending on the result, you either go or you don't. So anyway, that's how we did it. The actual place is literally across the road from the terminal, which is there. That's the terminal there. So literally across the road from the terminal. So, which is good. Now we have found a place to stay at about 20 minutes away from Santander. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a recce on it, have a look at it and see what it's about. I'll check it up in a minute and then show everyone. Right, I've just done a little bit of a Google Maps on a site not too far from the ferry port in Santander. It's literally across the little bay. You can get a ferry from here to there apparently, but it's a place called Somo, and it's about a 20-minute drive, 25-minute drive to here, and the place is called Auto Caravans Somo, I do believe. And it's this place here. I think there's room for about 60 vehicles, I do believe, according to them. And it's €13 a night with electric. I do believe they've got a shower block and toilets, but I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, not too far away, so we'll give that a go. They've got vacancies, so all systems go. I've actually booked the PCR tests for Monday. It's now Friday. We're going to travel to Santander tomorrow, head up to this place in Somo. Bed down there for a few days, get the test on Monday morning, get the results on Tuesday, and I've booked the ferry for Wednesday. It actually sails from Santander to Portsmouth on Wednesday the 10th of February at, well, it says between 5 and 7 in the evening, so between 5 and 7 p.m. So fingers crossed. I will update everyone on the PCR test when we get there. Hopefully I'll try and video it. So I best it's getting dark now, so I best crack on packing stuff away. We want to get away about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.